Let's start with the revision for F3, which is technology enabled finance transformation. So we have the loss statement up, losses, learning objectives statement. So you can see what are the points that we are supposed to cover in this particular topic F3. क्या क्या है वो वहाँ पे? First one is SDLC, system development life cycle. What are the different phases involved in the development of a system, information system as in a software? Then including the phases included in the system development life cycle are system analysis, conceptual design, physical design, implementation, conversion, operations and maintenance. Those are the phases involved in SDLC. So first we'll start with that. Then the second one is explain the role of business process analysis in improving the system performance. So this is a pure theoretical concept if you remember. So here we are going to just discuss how process analysis will improve the performance of the system. So what are the processes in your organization? You need to analyze that to understand which processes can be streamlined, which processes can be automated, and based on that the overall performance will enhance. Then third one is RPA, robotic process automation. So basically you are going to use some software tools, we call them as soft robots. So we are going to use some robots, software robots, to automate the tasks that humans perform. So that will be only happening for repeated tasks without any change in the process flow. So if there is any change in the process flow, then the RPA would not work, if you remember, right? And the benefits of RPA also will be discussed. Then what kind of technologies can be used and where those technologies can be used to improve the overall efficiency and effectiveness of using the accounting information systems in your organization. Kahan pe you can use the technologies, what technologies you can use and how they can be used, how they can improve the performance of your accounting systems. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, all that stuff we'll discuss there. Then comes the cloud computing, how it can improve your efficiency, cloud-based technologies. And then SaaS is also covered, software as a service, and what are its advantages and disadvantages. And last you have the potentials of blockchain and distributed ledger and smart contracts. So again, sir, this is not a blockchain certification course where you are going to discuss everything about blockchain. खाली एक ऊपर से introduction level पे we are just going to understand blockchain क्या होता है, उसका functionality क्या है, how it is going to work, and then we are also going to discuss what is distributed ledger and what are smart contracts. So some of these topics are important from exam point of view as well. So we'll cover those also. So now if I have to give you a small summary about the first one. So if you remember, we used A, B, C, D. A is automation, B is blockchain, C is cloud computing and cryptocurrencies, D is data analytics and data visualization. So data analytics and data visualization is covered in F4 topic, right? So F3 we are going to cover the ABC, automation, blockchain, cloud computing, right? So automation is RPA, robotic process automation, B for blockchain, C for cloud computing and SaaS. So with that, let's start with the first one, F3.1, which is system development life cycle and a little bit of process automation as well. So what is system development life cycle? The stages involved in the development of software systems. What are the phases? So the first phase is system analysis. So first we have to understand what kind of information is supposed to be gathered, what shall we do with that particular system, how that system is going to be used, what is the requirement of creating a new software, why are we creating a software. So that why is covered under the system analysis. You can see identify organizational needs and gather information on modifying either the current system or purchasing a new system or developing a new system. So first we need to understand what is our requirement. Then we have to figure out, is there already an existing software that we can use, or should we buy a new one, or should we develop a new one in-house? Okay, so that is the first stage, which is system analysis, requirement analysis. Then the second phase is, once you know the requirements of the system, then we start with the conceptual design. Sir, conceptual design क्या होता है? So where you create a framework for that, we call it as a skeleton structure, if you remember. So वहाँ पे क्या करते हैं हम लोग? We do a basic specifications and a basic guidelines on what will be the features and functionalities of the system, what will be the number of screens, or what will be the number of features, what will be the specification list. So it is not a full-fledged design as such, it is more like an overview of the software. Okay, for example, we are going to build a new expense reimbursement software for a company. So let's say this is a marketing and advertisement agency. So their their employees go to different places for marketing campaigns. So they have to spend on petrol bills, they have to spend on food bills, printing, vouchers, all that stuff, taking out clients for lunch and all that stuff. So they have some expenses that they want to claim from the company for reimbursement, right? Okay, so we have to build a software for that. For example, something on the basis of a web platform, for example. So there will be a website where the employee can log in with their user ID and password. Then they can submit their expenses ka list. They'll submit that, okay, I paid 500 rupees for petrol. I traveled from here to here. So there should be a purpose field. There should be an amount field. There should be a functionality to attach the bill, copy of the bill, right? So this is basically the conceptual design that we are doing here. So what we are doing, we are not exactly designing the website. We are first understanding, okay, these are the features that we need. Okay, these are the options that we need. So, okay, there will be one button here, or there will be this option to attach file, like that. That is called as the conceptual design. Then comes the actual physical design, where we take the conceptual design. There will be a website designer sitting and he'll be like, okay, sir, what do you need? First functionality, login. So there will be a page for employee login. So there will be username and password. So there will be a database behind it. That database will be connected to the website. So when they enter the username and password, whether it is correct or not, if it is correct, login. If it is not correct, please enter correct credentials. Right? Chalo. So that all comes under the physical design. So you can see it translates the conceptual design into detailed specifications for the system creation. This includes the computer code, inputs, outputs, data files, databases, processes, procedures, controls. So everything regarding the system will be done in the physical design phase. All the development will happen in the physical design. Okay. Next, so all these three are what? Internal processes. So first we analyzed what are the requirements of the system. Then we analyzed, then we got a overall conceptual design. Then a more detailed physical design has been done. So the actual development of the project is completed. Then what will happen? Implementation and conversion. So first we will do a testing of that website. So our testing team, our quality assurance team, QA team, they will do the testing of the website. They'll check all the functions are properly working or not, attachments are working or not, are the amounts saving correctly or not. So all that stuff they'll check. If there are any bugs, they will report back to programming, and then that cycle goes on. Programming, we will fix it and give it back to testing. Again, testing will test. Again, if they get any bugs, again send back to programming, like that. There will be a small loop. And after that, once all the features are tested, once everything is working properly, functionalities are clear, then it will be implemented, means website will be launched. So the employees can now log in and submit their expenses for reimbursement. So that is your implementation and conversion, sir. But conversion means what? You also need to train your employees. You have to tell them, okay, you have to prepare an Excel spreadsheet, or you have to upload all the attachments, bill copies, you have to take a screenshot, whatever it is. You have to guide them, you have to train them on how to use that new system, how to use that new website or whatever system it is, and what are the procedures and controls in place for that new system. And then after that also, just because you designed a system and because you launched a system doesn't mean it will work forever like that without any changes. Your employees might come up with a new suggestion. They might say that, sir, website is fine, attachments are fine, everything is working properly. But the problem is when we are on the field, on the mobile, when we are opening the website, some screens are not properly aligned. Some buttons are not visible. They are either too small or they are too big. So could you do it as a mobile application rather than a website? Can you create an app for that? Okay. So that is what maintenance and operations, where you can add more features and functionalities. You can fix more bugs in the future, whatever it is. Let's say one of our employee called us and said that, sir, videos are not uploading as an attachment. Photos are working, PDFs are working, Excel is working. But if I take a video of something, it is not uploading. The system is not allowing. So that is an operation and maintenance. You have to also add the code to allow the videos to be uploaded. And then again, somebody uploaded a movie, 2.5 GB, 3 GB ka movie they uploaded as an attachment. That is a problem. Your database will become too big. So you have to put a restriction for file size. You have to say that file size cannot be more than 5 MB. File size cannot be more than 10 MB. You might have faced that with some applications, online applications. The photo should not be more than 1 MB. Please compress that file, something like that. So that will be there in the operations and maintenance. So all the phases of system development lifecycle are clear. So first there will be a system analysis, then there will be conceptual design and physical design. System analysis mein requirement gathering will be done. Conceptual design mein skeleton structure will be created. Then physical design where the actual system development and the product entire coding is done, basically programming is done. Then implementation and conversion, installing and training the users on that, and then maintenance and operations. Those are the phases in the system development life cycle. Okay, so there are two models which are covered in the textbook, but these are not examinable. These are not required for CMA exam, but you might want to know what are the different models that are used for creating the softwares. There are so many other models also, but these two are very frequently used in the software industry. But again, repeating, this is not tested for your CMA examination. This is only for your knowledge. So first model is called as waterfall model. So if you scroll down a little, so the chart, that diagram on the right side, that is more than enough for you to understand what are the phases involved in the waterfall mechanism. So first we'll do a planning of the requirement, then we will do analysis of that. Sir, what is the difference between planning and analysis? Both look like same. Like if someone has to define planning versus analysis, it gets a little blurry, it gets a little confusing. So the difference is that planning is basically gathering all the data, gathering all the information. Analysis includes feasibility study. Feasibility study means, see, user will request for lot of features, but is it possible or not? Do we have the resources or not? Do we have the technology or not? Do we have the capital or not? Do we have time or not, first of all? Like for example, recently we were discussing on some random accounting related stuff. June, July is income tax returns time, right? So we were discussing, I was talking to one of my friends and we were discussing this thing. So employees get something called Form 16. Form 16 is their entire salary particulars and all. Basically, we do the same thing. We take the Form 16 and fill all the information in the income tax website. Now some of that stuff, actually most of that stuff is automated. Income tax website already knows the salary particulars and all. Recent developments are that. But we were discussing on, there is something called OCR technology, optical character recognition. Now you guys give OMR exams, OMR sheet based examination. So the correction is done using OCR technology. OCR is optical character recognition. So basically if you have a PDF file, the system will be scanning through that PDF file and it will try to understand what are the contents of the PDF file. It can extract the text from the PDF file. So we were thinking if Form 16 has the same format everywhere, all companies will give the same format because they download it from income tax portal. So it has the same format. So why can't someone develop a software where they'll use OCR? So you just upload the PDF file of Form 16 and it will automatically define, it will automatically do the entire income tax return preparation for a salaried employee. So that this discussion happened somewhere in lockdown time, and now there are 4 or 5 softwares that are already doing it. So that is the difference between planning and analyzing. So planning is just gathering all the facts and figures and creating a timeline, but analysis includes feasibility, whether it is possible to do it or not, whether we have all the resources or not, right? Chalo. So if you take the SDLC life cycle, system analysis is the first phase. So that includes planning and analysis of the waterfall model. And then comes the design. That design is again split into conceptual design and physical design, right? Then development and testing is covered under development testing and deployment. No, development and testing is covered under implementation. Deployment is conversion, and maintenance is operations and maintenance. Sir, again, you don't need to learn this waterfall model for the CMA exam. This is just for your reference. So some companies follow this 7 stages of development. That is one methodology of following it. So if you scroll down to the next page, the second model is agile framework. So the first model was waterfall mechanism. The second model is agile framework. Sir, simply speaking, agile is what? So agile is being very flexible. Little bit down. So agile is being flexible. So instead of waiting for the entire website to be built, entire project to be completed, usually under Agile, what we'll do is we'll break the entire project into smaller bits and pieces. Each bit is completed and implemented. Then the second bit is completed and implemented. Third bit completed and implemented. So there is an ongoing activity rather than just waiting for someone to finish their work before we start ours. So they finish the first part of the website, it will go to testing. It will be sent to the user. User will do their testing. They will give some inputs. Then we'll fix those inputs. In the meanwhile, we'll do the second phase of the development. So it keeps on going as a bits and pieces. So Agile is more back and forth will happen. So rather than us doing the entire project and then us doing the entire testing and then deploying it and sending to the customer, so it will be done in phases so that there will be more back and forth communication. Agile is more useful when you are working on an ongoing project, like a long-term project is there, something that requires 6 to 7 months of project work is there. So in that cases, rather than waiting for the entire project to be completed, if you do it in Agile, then it will become easier for you because every week you are saying that, okay, this week these are the deliverables, this week these are the deliverables. So you deliver that and then you get feedback on that. So like that is Agile. So you can see the phases. So planning, design, development, testing, deploy, review, same steps only. But there is a loop of that. It is going on in circle because there is back and forth. You deployed something, it again comes back. The customer will do a review and he'll say that, okay, everything is fine, but these changes are needed. I have this 4 or 5 changes to be done. Again, it will go through that entire phase. Again, it will go through like that. So that is Agile mechanism. So in short, if I have to cover what these two models are, first model is doing everything at once and then going into the next phase. Whereas in Agile, that entire project will be broken down into bits and pieces and each bit and piece will be going through a cycle. That's the two models ka difference. So that is your first part of F3, which is system development life cycle. So the second part is artificial intelligence and automation. Sir, AI is something that is going to be the the tech for the next 10-15 years at least. See, every generation, every decade, if I take 10 years, every 10 years has a new technology. Like 1990 to 2000, it was all about Java and C++ and all those technologies. 2000 to 2010, it was slightly, what was that, Python. Python was slowly introduced, but it was not full-fledged there. But Python was the revolution, like full stack and Python basically in 2000 to 2010. 2010 to 2020, more advanced level of Python. Basically, most of the companies, they reframed their entire project from C, C++, Java to Python. Because Python is more flexible and you can do more research you can do, and it takes less amount of work to add a new feature to an existing system. Rather than in C++ and Java, you have to do the entire coding again. Python mein kya hota hai? Python can use the existing code and basically it makes it little easier. See, this is again not a computers class, so I don't want to go into the details of the technologies and the programming languages and all, but yeah. So every decade has a technology that is going to revolutionize the entire software industry. So for this decade, it is obviously all of you know ChatGPT is the revolution. So ChatGPT was the pioneer, as in the first artificial intelligence that actually made a noise in the market. Everybody were talking about it, everybody wanted to have their hands on it, and then they also understood that the model has to have more users to become more efficient, so they gave it for free. So now you have ChatGPT 3.5 and 4, if you know. So 3.5 is freely available for everyone. 4.0 also, now they made it available for free for everyone with limitations. With limitations as in number of messages are restricted on 4.0. Per day you can only have 25 messages or something like that. I don't exactly know, but yeah. So what happens is, the generations of these technologies, you might be wondering, sir, what is the difference between 3.5 and 4.0? So ChatGPT 3.0 was only text. As in, you give an input, it will give you a response back in text. 3.5 was able to take images from you. You can upload a picture like a screenshot of something and upload to ChatGPT, and it will be able to extract the text from that and give you responses from that. Okay, so ChatGPT can now take the images also. If you go to ChatGPT 4.0 version, GPT-4, you can upload PDF files also. Suppose if I have a textbook of 30 pages I can just drag and drop that PDF file into the ChatGPT window and I can say that, can you summarize this 30 pages topic for me and give me important bullet points? It will do that for you. It can read through the entire textbook and it can give you the required questions. Or if you say, can you give me what is interference engine? It will be able to look for that in that textbook, give you that, and you can say, give me some more examples to understand this better. It will give you examples. So like that. So artificial intelligence is basically a technology where the systems, the softwares try to think like a human being. I'm repeating again, try to think like a human being. They can't actually think like a human being. Because the problem is, for us, when we think, our psychological brain is one thing and our emotional intelligence is also coming into the picture. Humans, we can understand the requirement of it. We can understand, we can show some empathy towards it. We can understand what they are trying to do. But ChatGPT does not understand. So basically, if the instructions are clearly shared, GPT will be able to respond to that. If the instructions are not clear, it does not understand what you are trying to say. It all depends upon your instructions that you are giving to the AI, right? So artificial intelligence tries to mimic the human thinking functionality. It tries to think like a human being, but it does not actually think like a human being. And how does artificial intelligence become so clever? So if you are actually seeing the images generated by AI, first phase of AI generated images, they were so bad. Like if you ask for a human being, the hand might have 6 fingers on it or 10 fingers on it, some random weird stuff used to happen. But now after 1 year, 1.5 years, now the AI images are so good. You can, and now they're free also. You can go to Bing and say that, give me this blah 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 image. You can do, you can use Microsoft Copilot to generate some images. Okay, so they are free also now. Copilot is free for everyone also. Microsoft wala. So it became so efficient now. How? So the thing is, artificial intelligence learn from the data. That is called machine learning. I'm just dumbing it down for you. Again, machine learning as a technology, if you learn, there are a lot of intricacies involved in it. So just for the basic level, you can understand, machine learning is a technology where the machine will learn from every data that you enter to it. It will learn from every process it performs. Suppose if you say, ChatGPT, give me an essay on Mahatma Gandhi with 500 words. It will generate an essay for you. But while generating the essay, it is also learning about who is Mahatma Gandhi. Basically, it is searching the entire internet, finding out different resources, gathering those things, summarizing it, and then learning that stuff and then giving you the response. So next time somebody asks about Mahatma Gandhi, that does not need to go through the internet to find it out. It already learned that stuff. That is machine learning. So artificial intelligence become more efficient and effective because they use machine learning technology. One technology is utilizing another technology to become better. I hope you all understood that thing, right? All right, chalo. So there is something called interference engines. So what is this interference engine is? This is a tool or a technology used by artificial intelligence. Suppose there is an Excel file. So in a spreadsheet, I should exactly give it row, column. I should clearly tell the system, okay, row number 55, column number H. So it will go to H55 cell and it will show there. So Excel has to follow an exact logic. If a formula is there, you have to use it exactly like that. If the syntax is a little bit, is equal to if conditional, comma, if yes, comma, if no. There is a formula for that, a syntax for that. If you use that syntax wrong, Excel will show error. It will say that, sorry. Actually, it won't say sorry. It will say #NA, means not applicable or error. So you have to follow the logic exactly in the same manner. But ChatGPT, no structure. You are just randomly typing. You are talking in your own language. Even if you are making grammatical mistakes, even if you are using the wrong vocabulary, even if you are not using the correct statement, still ChatGPT will be able to respond to you. Why? That is because of interference engine. That is where we use something called as fuzzy logic. Fuzzy logic is where the logic is not exactly clear, the syntax is not exactly given, but still the system will be able to analyze and understand it. Even unclear or unstructured inputs are also analyzed by the system to give you the perfect output. That is called fuzzy logic. I hope that is clear. All right. So the next one is automation, business process automation. So there are so many processes in our business which can be automated. Automated means what? You don't need to do it. System will automatically handle that work. Like for example, let's say I actually did this in this college only. So if I remember it right, it was for 2021 batch of St. Anne's. So what happened was there was this assignments that will be there, CIA 3, right? So during that time, I gave the assignment to the students on some random topic. They were supposed to prepare the entire assignment report and they have to submit it. So what I did, I created an RPA process for that. So I used a not an RPA tool as such, some automation tools I can call it, not RPA as such. It's an automation tool which is available, Pably and all are there, free of cost. So what we did was, I told the students to email the assignment to me as an attachment, but the email subject has to be in a proper structure. So first one, batch number R21, R22, whatever batch number, hyphen CIA 3 assignment, hyphen their semester. SEM 1, SEM 2, SEM 3, SEM 4, whatever it is. So that structure should be there, hyphen roll number, hyphen name. So that should be the subject of the email. So I have created an automation tool where if the subject of the email has this particular structure, it will automatically move all those emails from the inbox and put it in a separate folder in the email. In email also you can have folders, if you know that. So a separate folder called R23, for example, assignments, CIA 3. Like that, a separate folder will be created, all the emails will move to that, not that. Then each assignment will be downloaded, the attachment will be downloaded and uploaded to a separate folder on my Dropbox or OneDrive, whatever, cloud storage, in a particular folder. Not that. There will be a separate spreadsheet where when a student submits their assignment, the spreadsheet will automatically update student roll number, student name, email address, time when they submitted it and the attachment name. So I don't need to do anything else. So what I'll do, I'll just open that spreadsheet, add another column called marks and open that attachment, enter the marks there. That's all I'll do. So you can automate some processes so that you can reduce your manual effort. But this automation will work only if the process is exactly the same. If there is a small change in the process, the automation will fail. If somebody did not follow the exact subject line, suppose if they shuffled name first and roll number next, system will not be able to understand that. The data will be incorrect. Okay? Chalo. So that is called as business process automation or robotic process automation. But the thing we need to understand is RPA can reduce your workload. RPA can finish off the task which you are taking 1 hour. RPA can do that in maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But having said that, RPA will work only if there is no change in the process. Even if there is a slightest change in the process, the system will not be able to handle the process. It will fail. And then what you have to do, you have to redesign the entire thing, or you have to modify it to fix that particular change, whatever change it is. So you can see the benefits of RPA. It can quickly complete the tasks. It maintains an audit trail, means it maintains what exactly it did, what was successful, what was not successful, and the entire log will be maintained. It will be consistent. It will not make any human errors. It will increase the focus on value added tasks, because system is doing all the dumb work. Humans can put their efforts in more value additional areas. It can scale, means, see, suppose if you have accounts payable department. What does accounts payable department do? They gather the invoices from the vendors and they make the payment for that. They have to check whether the invoice is correct, whether the goods are received, purchase order is there or not, receipt note is there or not. All that steps they have to check. We discussed this in F1 if you remember. Accounts payable cycle, accounts receivable cycle, revenue to cash cycle, and expense to payment cycle if you remember. If you don't, then that's good. Very good. Chalo. So scalability is where, suppose let's say today your business is getting 500 invoices every month. So you put 2 employees to look at all the incoming emails, find out all the invoices and enter them in the system. You have 2 employees doing that. Suppose tomorrow your business grew so big that instead of 500 invoices, you now get 10,000 invoices every month. So now instead of 2 employees, you will need 20 employees. Suppose if it grows even bigger, you will need more and more staff. But automation is not like that. If once an automation is created, whether there are 500 invoices, whether there are 10,000 invoices, the same tool can automate that. The same tool can process that. You just need to enhance the resources. You'll just put in additional storage space. 1 TB hard disk is not sufficient, you put 5 TB hard disk. 16 GB RAM is not sufficient, you enhance it to 32 GB RAM. But the process will remain the same because it's the same flow. The automation can still handle it. So it can scale at large and it works continuously 24/7 without any interruption. All computer systems do that. It will be more efficient and accurate compared to human beings. It can save a lot of cost for you once it is implemented. Implementation is very costly. Process automation, first time when you are implementing, first time buying the software, designing the process flow, that is all costly process. But once it is implemented, there is very less maintenance. And since there is a lot of time, management can focus on decision making rather than doing the dumb activities. So drawbacks kya hota hai? Obviously, first drawback everyone can easily say, cost involved. So first time there is a huge cost, capital flow is there, and also you need to do a periodical maintenance. Whenever there is a change in the process, we have to update the systems also. So next one is NLP, natural language processing software. I already discussed about this when I mentioned about fuzzy logic. NLP is what? You don't need to talk to the computer in a computer language. You don't need to talk to the computer in a programming language. See, Java, SQL scripts, all that stuff, you don't need to do that. Because artificial intelligence is programmed to understand human language. With ChatGPT, you are giving input in normal English, human English. You are not going to give it in a computer language. But still software is able to understand what you are saying, analyze that and respond to you back. That is called as natural language processing. Next one, neural networks. Sir, again, neural networks is not an actual covered in your syllabus. It is not actually covered in CMA syllabus. But if you have to really appreciate artificial intelligence and RPA, you should know what is neural network also. You know, in your brain, you have something called neurons. Yes. In a human brain. So in the neurons, what will happen? Whenever you are trying to do something, the neurons will spark. Basically, there's a small light kind of a thing, and all the neurons are all connected to each other and information flows amongst all those stuff. Like that only, on the web also, on the software end also, there are a lot of connections inside it. So when you are searching for something, it is able to look at 100 different resources and giving you a summarized information. You can do that on Bing, Microsoft Bing, like Google is there in a search engine. Like that only, Microsoft has a search engine called as Bing. So if you go to Bing and search for something, it is going to show you some data, but below that, it is also going to give you references. It is going to say that, okay, I gave you this information from these websites. 4 or 5 websites it will give you. Like when you are doing an assignment or a thesis or a project work, you have to give references. At the end of the book, you will say that, okay, these are the list of books that are referred while preparing this particular project work. So like that, we call it as bibliography. That is the correct terminology. So anyways, coming back, so neural network is what? Where the computer understands the fuzzy logic and it connects to various different resources, various different sources of information, gathers everything at one place and summarizes that. That is how ChatGPT works behind the screen. It is using machine language, it is using natural language processing, it is using fuzzy logic and neural networks. So all of these are used together to give you one simple face, one simple like what is blah 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 topic. It is able to give you an explanation of that topic, an example for that topic, a solution to that problem, everything will be given, right? Because behind the screen all these technologies are used simultaneously. At the same time, all these technologies are used. Next is relevant for your CMA exam. What is the usage of artificial intelligence in accounting? Sir, how is this thing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, neural networks, how are all these used in accounting? First of all, we need to know why it is relevant to us. So you can see all the examples that are listed in the material. So it can be used to extract the data from invoices and input into accounting system without manual intervention. Like a vendor sends you an invoice copy, system will be able to download that invoice, scan that invoice, identify the vendor, identify the invoice number, date, amount, GST, total amount payable, due time, like payable in 10 days, payable in 15, 30 days, whatever it is able to extract all that information and also post it to your journal ledger system, accounts payable system, whatever you are using. If you are using an ERP software, accounting entry is also posted automatically by the system. So manual intervention can be removed. That is first example for usage. Next, it can validate and reconcile financial transactions across multiple systems, ensuring accuracy and compliance. QuickBooks, have you heard about the website QuickBooks? It's an accounting website, cloud computing basically. So you can maintain all your accounting transactions directly on the web. You'll have your user login and password. So basically you can do accounting from anywhere, any place, any system, mobile, tablet, Windows, Mac. You can use any laptop. You can go to an internet center and also do the work. You don't need an accounting software, a database and all that stuff because everything is on the cloud. So that QuickBooks has this excellent feature. Unfortunately, they shut down their operations in India last year. Now it is not providing any more services in India because the product is becoming too cheap. Because India, the pricing of accounting softwares is very less. You get Tally for 5,000 per year. So QuickBooks cannot sell for something like 10,000 per year or something like that. And because of the features they are giving, it becomes difficult for them to operate at a low price. And Indian market is already saturated, so people are not buying too much of that software. So again, for various reasons, they shut down. But QuickBooks has this amazing option where you can directly connect to your bank account. Internet banking will be there, corporate banking, net banking. So you can connect your net banking to the QuickBooks. It will automatically download all the transactions from your bank statement into the QuickBooks software. So you just log into QuickBooks, already all the payments and all the receipts are shown there. All you need to do is, suppose there is a payment. QuickBooks knows if it is a salary because narration will have the word salaries. It will automatically post the entry to salaries account data to bank account using the narration. If the narration is not clear, paid to Anjali, for example. So system does not know who Anjali is. So then what it will do, it will show the transaction there, unreconciled transaction, paid to Anjali. So now you have to go and click on that and say that, okay, post this to account number 10500 marketing expenses, for example. Then journal entry will be posted, marketing expenses account data to bank account. Narration being amount paid to Anjali. Okay, so like that is also an automation tool only. It is automating your work instead of you looking at the bank statement and doing a BRS, bank reconciliation and all that stuff. System is directly doing that for you. Okay, that is another example. So it can prepare periodical financial statements. You can say that at every month end, prepare my profit and loss balance sheet and cash flow statement. System will do that for you automatically. It will email the financial statements to your mailbox. That is another advantage. It can handle all your payroll processings. You can just say disburse amount. Automatically salaries will be credited to your employees. You don't need to generate any PDF file, take a printout of that, take a check, sign on that check, give an NEFT form to your banker, give it to your office boy goes to the bank and submits there. No stuff, nothing like that. System will say disburse payroll, it will connect to your online banking, it will automatically take the account numbers from your payroll software, do an RTGS, NEFT, IMPS, whatever transfer it is. That is also an automation. So all these things are examples of how RPA can be used in businesses. Not just RPA, all process automations basically. So the next topic is cloud computing and SaaS. So what is cloud computing? Just now I told you, like QuickBooks is there. So you don't need to have a hardware, you don't need to have a server, you don't need to purchase all that equipment, you don't need to maintain databases, you don't need to store the data on your site. Everything is stored on the internet. Cloud service will be there. The software is provided to you. You don't need to install it anywhere. You just log in directly. So cloud is basically where all the physical infrastructure that you have to usually maintain, that is maintained by someone else somewhere else. Like for example, you want to store all your pictures. What will you do? You'll buy a pen drive or a hard disk or a memory card or something like that, a storage device you will buy. You'll copy all the files there and you'll keep that device safe. Now, what you can do alternatively, you can just upload all the files to Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox or whatever cloud storage you are using, Apple, all that stuff. And so if you are using whatever storage, cloud storage, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, whatever storage you are using, Apple Cloud, whatever it is. So what you will do, you will upload all the pictures to that particular cloud storage and it will be there. You can access it from any device, anywhere, anytime with internet. So here what is happening is that storage device, like a hard disk, for example, earlier you were having the hard disk, you were having the server, you were having the computer and everything, and you are saving there. Now Google has the hardware somewhere else. It is there in Silicon Valley, placed there, and your data is saved there, but you are accessing it using the internet. That is called as cloud computing, cloud storage. So where the physical hardware is located somewhere else by someone else, and they are using those resources by paying a amount, subscription amount or whatever it is, one-time payment, monthly payment, quarterly payment, whatever it is, as per the vendor's choice. Okay, so cloud computing is basically using the internet to perform the activities where the hardware resources and the physical resources are located somewhere and are maintained by someone else, and we pay a subscription fee or whatever it is to use that resources. That is called as cloud computing. Sir, but there is always one disadvantage with using cloud computing. That disadvantage is your data is not your data anymore. Suppose you are uploading all your pictures to Google Drive. That means Google is storing your pictures. You are saving your data on Google's hard disk. So that is always a problem for privacy. Okay. Sir, Google does not have my password, na sir. They don't have your password, so they don't know the file. They can't open the file as such, but still they have the physical control over that file. And the advantage with using the cloud service is that, suppose if you are copying all the data on a hard disk, what if that hard disk fails? What will happen? All your data is gone. But when you are taking a cloud service, usually they maintain multiple copies of that data. Suppose if you are uploading one image, that image is saved in 5 different locations at the same time. So even if one goes down or 2 of them go down, still you have 3 more copies to bring it back. Okay. So again, there is so many other features and technologies used. There is something called CDN, Content Delivery Network. So for example, if I'm opening a website, if that website is hosted on a server which is in Canada, server is in Canada, I'm opening in India. So the Indian network has to communicate to the Canada server and get the website back. That is why you get loading time on some websites. It takes a little bit of time to load because it is gathering the data from a server which is located in some other country, in some other continent. So some websites take some time to load. So usually you can use content delivery network. So what they do is they will have servers in 20 different countries. Suppose someone is pinging from India, someone is trying to access that website from India. That copy of that website will be there on the Indian server also. So this website will be loaded from Indian server. It will not load it from Canada server. So CDN will maintain copy of the same website on different servers across the globe. And the nearest server will be called. So all this is, there are so many other technologies. This is not computers ka class, so I'll not go too much detailed into that. So the next one is SaaS, software as a service. This is something that you all are using it without knowing it is called SaaS. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, AHA, Spotify, YouTube Premium, all of these are called as SaaS only. So they are having the software and you are paying a subscription fee to use their software. You are not going to buy the software. You are not the owner of the software. Owner is Netflix. You are just paying them to use it as a service. Right? That is called a SaaS model. There will be a subscription where the customers are paying you money to use your software. So you are providing them a service which is your software. That is it. That is why it is called software as a service. So you are providing your software as a service to them. You are not selling your software. Be very careful. The software company is not selling the software to anyone. We are only giving them access to use the software for a period of time. That is subscription model. Okay, that is called SaaS. Sir, advantages and disadvantages you can easily understand. Suppose if you want to connect on 5 devices, Hotstar plans will be there, Hotstar mobile, Hotstar basic, Hotstar prime or premium, something. So in Hotstar, if you open, you will see multiple plans. Hotstar mobile, Hotstar basic, Hotstar premium, something like that. I don't exactly remember the names. So what happens if you take Hotstar mobile, you can only log in on mobile application. If you try to log in on TV, it will not work. Your plan does not support a TV login. It will show like that. So you'll have to take a next plan. Suppose tomorrow you purchased a 4K TV. Your Hotstar basic will only have 720p HD support. It does not support 4K. I mean, you can play for HD content on 4K TV also, but it will be like purchasing 10,000 rupees worth of premium cricket bat and using that to play in the streets. It doesn't make any sense, right? So you purchase 10 lakhs worth of superpower computer and you are using it to play road rash or some dummy games. So it's like that. So basically what you will do, you will take a 4K TV, so you will upgrade your subscription plan also. So by using SaaS, whenever your requirement changes, you can automatically upgrade the plan and you can use better resources. Suppose I have taken 10 GB cloud storage. Now my storage is full. I'll just pay extra money and they'll expand it to 20 GB. Right? So that is the advantage of using the SaaS. So you do not need to pay for everything upfront. You are paying as you are using it and you can scale it up anytime, anywhere you want. So those are the advantages, ma'am. So advantages and disadvantages. So you can see the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage is the user company enjoys continuously supported and updated software as long as the fees are paid to the provider. Sir, I purchased Netflix ka subscription. So I don't need to do anything after buying the subscription. All I do is log in and watch the content, consume the content. Netflix will handle the software. Netflix will update the software periodically. That is why you get updates to Netflix application, because Netflix is doing the maintenance of the software. I don't need to do anything. All I need to do is pay my subscription and I am done. I don't need to maintain that software. I don't need to maintain the database. So offsite hosting, so it is stored somewhere else. I am not going to host it. I don't need to maintain the server storage space and all. So that will reduce my equipment cost, software maintenance cost, all that stuff will come down. I don't need to maintain the staff to do all that stuff. Somebody else are doing it and I'm just using their services. So all that stuff. So basically advantages, you can look at those things later. But there is one word that I want you to pay attention to in the last advantage, last word of the last advantage. VPN, virtual private network. So this is a very important tool which is used in almost all the organizations, whether it is a software company or an accounting company or a manufacturing company, it doesn't really matter. As long as if you have a server, if you have a proper server through which to which all the users are connecting to, you should use VPN services. VPN is what basically, instead of using the internet directly, internet is very unsecure. Anybody can hack into your data. Internet is highly unsecure. So, and you cannot secure that because it is an unencrypted flow of information. You are opening a website from a mobile device. If it is encrypted, it will not load. The file has to be decrypted only. It has to be an unencrypted file. So anybody can hack that data. So to protect your company's confidential information, you will host it on your own server, a private server. Nobody can access it from the internet. Access denied error will come. So you will have a separate software called VPN. So when you install to that and connect using the VPN login ID and password, company login ID and password, so it will connect you to a separate internet, not the public internet which you are using, like not your Reliance data or not your Airtel data or not your Act FiberNet and all. That is used for browsing. But for connecting to the company's database, you are connecting through a private network. That access to the private network is again given through credentials to the employees. So nobody can access the data without having that VPN software, without having that VPN logins. I hope I made that easy to understand. But then again, this is all something that is too technical to explain to you at this point. But yes, I gave you an overview about how it works. So VPN is a private network to which access is only granted through a dedicated software, through dedicated logins. Nobody can access it without those logins and that particular software. There are hundreds of VPN softwares. You just go to Google and type VPN software, you will get hundreds of softwares. All companies will not use the same software. So you need to know which software is used by the company and what is their IP address and then the login ID and password. After you have all that stuff, then you can log into their database, to their server, connect to their server. So it's practically very difficult to log into that. Okay. Next comes disadvantages. So disadvantages, first thing is, can you tell Netflix what features they should add? So you are paying subscription fee, but can you tell Netflix that, hey Netflix, do you know what, your homepage is not looking nice? We want you to change it like it. Obviously they won't entertain any such kind of request. If you are reporting some bugs and all, maybe they will fix those bugs, but you do not have the flexibility to define what that software should look like or what features it should have. You are using it as they provide it. The software is controlled by them, not you. You are just the user of it. So SaaS model has that disadvantage. You are not the owner of the software. You do not have the flexibility to make any changes. You are going to use it as they provide it. Sir, what if Netflix does not update their app for the next 5 years? You can't do anything. If you want to use the software, you have to pay them. As simple as that. There is no obligation on them that they have to give you periodical updates. Right? So all those are disadvantages for SaaS. Moving on, the last topic of F3, that is F3.4, blockchain. Sir, in blockchain, again I'm repeating you, there are so many certifications on blockchain which are fully dedicated only on that technology. So that will go on for something like 45 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours only on blockchain. But we are doing that in 10 minutes to 15 minutes. So understand, for CMA, we are not becoming blockchain experts. We are only learning the basics of what is blockchain, what are the advantages, what are the applications of blockchain in accounting field, how it is used, and smart contracts is one extra tool that we are going to learn about. That is also very important for accounting purposes. So we'll learn that. So first, let's try to understand what is a blockchain. But before that, look at the functions of the blockchain, key features of the blockchain. First feature is resistance to alteration. Means when a record goes on to a blockchain, you don't know what is blockchain yet. Assuming that, I know this is a revision, but assuming that you don't know what is a blockchain, understand it that it is a database. I'm dumbing it down. I'm making it very ground level. There are a lot of complications involved in this, but I'm trying to keep it at a very overview level. Blockchain is like a database. The first feature of blockchain is it is practically impossible for anyone to make modifications to the data. That is the first feature. Once the data is saved inside a blockchain, you cannot change it. That is the first feature. Next, decentralization means the data is not stored in one location. That data is stored on multiple locations. It is decentralized, not centralized to a one particular space. Third one, transaction verification. Whenever there is a new record that enters into the blockchain, it has to be verified by multiple people. Once multiple people approve that, then only it will get added to the database. Then only it will add to the blockchain. Otherwise, it will not be added. Next, last one, auditable ledger means there is a clear log. Who updated a record, who approved it, at what time they approved it, when was that record added to the blockchain. Everything is clearly maintained as an audit log. These are the key features of blockchain. Now you might be able to picturize why it is needed. Sir, this is basically a technology which is introduced to make sure that people do not modify the transaction log. People do not change the history of the transaction. I'll make it even more simple for you, very easy for you to understand what is blockchain. You all have currency notes with you? Some currency note, 10, 20, 500, 2000, whatever. Now 2000 notes are not there, 500, whatever currency note, you have currency note. Every currency note will have a serial number. Now if I ask you, you have a currency note with a serial number. When was it printed? Who got it first from what bank? From who did they give that money to, that currency note to? And can you give me the list of all the people who used that currency note before you? Will you be able to answer any of these questions? No, because nobody is maintaining a track of that. Now imagine the same currency note is a digital currency, not a paper currency, not a fiat currency. Fiat means physical currency. Okay, like your dollars, like your rupees, and whatever GBP, whatever it is. Imagine this is a physical, not a physical currency, but a digital currency. That note, that 200 note, is a transaction record, just a number. And when somebody transfers that from their wallet to somebody else's wallet, like you do Google Pay, Phone Pay, like that, when it is transferred, that serial number gets transferred to the other party. Suppose I have 10,000 rupees in my digital wallet. Now it just shows 10,000. But if you are using this blockchain technology, that 10,000 will be split. Like how many 200 notes with their serial numbers. And for each serial number, who transferred to whom, everything is maintained in the audit log. Now if I transfer to you, I will update that I transferred to Vanilla, for example. Vanilla has to approve that yes, I received from Manikanta. That is why it is decentralized and verification of transaction will be there. When all the parties or majority of the parties involved in the transaction, when they approve, then only that record will be added to the blockchain. Otherwise, it will not be added. Now, I hope that example gave you better understanding of how it can be utilized. So now, at any given point of time, nobody can deny that this transaction did not happen. If the transaction is there on the log, if it is there on the blockchain, that means it happened. If the transaction is not on the blockchain, that means it did not happen. There is 100% accuracy involved in the blockchain. Nobody can hack into the network to crack it. I should not say nobody, at least for now, it is highly secure, like maybe 100 times secure than a normal banking website. Okay, chalo. So now we understood the key features. So before we go on to the next phase, let's understand the terminologies used in the blockchain. What are the terms that are used in the blockchain? So the first one is peer network. Peer means what? Peers means all the co-participants along with you, whoever are working, all of them are called as peers. Your peer group, peer pressure means people around you, equivalent to you. So if I'm taking a blockchain network, all the participants of the blockchain network are called as peers. Next, distributed ledger. Sir, this is the key word. This is very important for CMA exam also. You can expect MCQs, direct MCQs from the distributed ledger word. Like, what is distributed ledger? Or which of the following is a characteristic of distributed ledger? Such kind of questions, direct questions can be expected. What is distributed ledger? The same copy of the data will be distributed across all the parties in the network. Everybody will have the copy of the data. Sir, suppose I have a copy of the data and Vanilla has a copy of the data. I am doing a fraud. I am trying to change the data. My data will not match with her data because she did not modify that. I modified it. So when it goes onto the blockchain, my copy of the data is not matching with the copy that the other people are having. So that means my data is modified. It will not be accepted by the chain. It will be rejected. That block will not be added to the chain. I hope that made sense to you all. So that is called distributed ledger. So the same transaction, the same ledger, the same copy of the ledger will be there maintained with all the parties of the network. That is called distributed ledger. Users means people who are parties of the blockchain. Next, there is something called as hash code. This is very important. So hash code is basically, there are some codes that are generated for each file. Okay. So what happens is when a transaction gets updated on the blockchain, once a file is uploaded to the blockchain, it will have a code that is generated, a secret code that is generated. So if anybody change something to the file, that code also will be updated automatically. So basically what happens is this code does not match with the code that is there on the other servers, other files. And system will automatically reject this file saying that the code has changed. Now the code does not match with the other records. So this is a modified update. So this should not be entertained. This should not be allowed inside the network. So that is called as hash code. Block means one part of the transaction. One transaction is called one block. Blockchain means what? All the blocks are connected to each other. All the transactions are connected to each other. That is called as a blockchain. Chain of transactions, chain of different blocks. So then there is public key and private key. So too much technical aspect that is. So let's not go into the details of public keys and private keys. Just to give you an understanding, my public key you can share with anyone. Like for example, Vanilla wants to transfer money to my wallet, digital currency like a Bitcoin or something. She wants to transfer to me. So my wallet will have a public key. I'll share it with her. Then she will enter my public key in her transaction and say that send the money to this particular account. This is the public key. That money will come to my account. If she does not have my wallet public key, she won't be able to transfer money to me. Wallet ID is public keys. But private key is with me. Only I can use that to log into my account. So that is public key and private key. That is again a very dumbed down version of it, just for you to easily understand, but there are too many complications in that. Chalo, fork is a splitting out the data into two. Again, that is not relevant for you. Don't go too much detailed into that. Next, smart contracts are very important. They actually made it a separate concept in your CMA syllabus, smart contracts. Sir, what are smart contracts? Let me try to make it very easy for you. Sir, suppose you are purchasing a house. You wanted to take a housing loan. So there will be some procedure for that. What are those procedures? So first the banker will check your credit score. They'll check your income. They'll check your assets and liabilities. They'll check your salary and all that stuff. They'll figure out whether you are eligible to get a house loan or not. After that, they'll check whether the property actually exists or not. Are you applying for a home loan for an actual home, or are you creating a virtual fictitious home? So they'll verify that, right? They will be a valuationer. So there's somebody will come, look at that place. What is the land rate in that area? What is the building? What kind of assets do you have in that area? Like what are all the internal interior designing that you are doing? All that stuff will be evaluated by someone. Then only the housing loan amount will be fixed, right? Then the builder will, an agreement to sale will be made. An agreement will be made between the buyer and the builder, seller, and then that agreement to sale will be submitted to the bank. Then the banker will disburse the amount to the builder. Then builder will transfer the property to the buyer. That is how a housing loan works, right? Okay, now if this is a manual process, there are too many back and forths of communication. Like physical evaluation happened. legal evaluation happened. So they have to go to the bank and communicate to them that, we went for physical verification, everything is fine, you can disperse this much. We did the legal document verification, everything is fine, there are no complications with the legal department. So all that informations have to go back and forth, and then the banker has to initiate a check. Then that check will go to the builder. Builder will go and deposit that check. Then the clearance will be done. Then builder will inform the buyer. Then buyer will go to the registration office, take appointment there. Then call the seller, call the builder. Then they'll all meet at the registration office. There are a lot of manual processes involved. Too much time taking it is. Now imagine all of this is on a blockchain. Now all the phases of the contract, all the steps of the contract, and the responsibilities, who is responsible to do what, everything is listed on the blockchain. Now physical evaluation happened. That guy came, he did all the physical verification. He will go to the blockchain and update, physical verification completed, approved. Legal verification completed, approved. Now the system already knows that once physical verification and legal verification is approved, banker has to release the check. It is already entered into the system that once these two are completed, automatically do this third step. System will automatically release the check. Once the seller receives the check, system will automatically generate the sale contract and notify the buyer that you can now go to the registration department and get it done. If registration department is also on that blockchain, so they'll just say that approve this transaction, registration completed. I hope that made picture to you, that made sense to you, right? So smart contracts, you can also take instead of taking a complicated construction contract and all, you can assume a small, like my contract with your college, for example. So we deliver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deliverables and they make the payment. On each deliverable completed, they'll make this much payment. So if it is a smart contract, I'll just go and say that, okay, this topic is completed. Someone from your class will be like, yes, sir has completed this topic, approved. Then it will go to the accounts department of the college and they'll say, approved. Finance department will be like, released payment. I'll get the credit automatically. So there is no manual, there is no too much of back and forth communications and all that stuff. System will automatically know when to execute what part of the transaction. And there will be triggers to each event. That is called a smart contract. I hope that made perfect sense to you all. Right? Chalo. So instead of going through all the content again, we'll just go through the diagram to understand the process of blockchain. So first look at that. Whenever there is a new data, like a new transaction need to be entered into the blockchain. So a user will enter that data into the blockchain. So that will be created as a separate block. As you can see, the image is very nice, very clearly mentioned there. So you can see when a user enters a data, it will create a new block. That block will be distributed to all the parties in the network. Okay. Then once majority of the parties have approved it, then it will go on to the blockchain and get added to the chain. So you can see how that chain is created in the last step. One block is connected to the next block. So each block will have a end hash and each block will have a begin hash. So block 1 end hash should match with block 2 begin hash. I'm repeating again. Block 1 end key hash is nothing but a key. Block 1 ending will have a key. Block 2 starting will have a key. These two keys should match. Then only those two will be connected and a chain will be formed. Now these two are a blockchain. Now third block comes and gets added. Block 2 end key, block 3 begin key should be same. So like that all the blocks get connected to each other and a chain will be created. That is blockchain. Now again, this is very basic rudimentary version of it. There are so many complications involved, not required for CMA. And last में advantages and disadvantages. You can see advantages include blockchain maintains transparency. Immutable means something that cannot be modified, something that cannot be hacked or cracked, something that cannot be illegally changed or tampered with. Single transaction. Each transaction will become a new block. So every transaction has a clear audit log. Cost will be saved because there are not very less litigations and disagreements involved in blockchain. It's not like somebody will have do all the work and later they say that no, you did not do the work properly or something like that, because there is an approval for each transaction. So everything is approved, it has to go ahead. It is very efficient. But the disadvantages, again, it's a very complicated technology, and there is still lot of uncertainty involved with the regulatory departments, like all your, for example, in the previous example, land registration thing. Now land registration department, the revenue department, does not use blockchain yet. You guys are using blockchain, they are not a part of the blockchain, so you don't know how to approve that transaction here. So such kind of disturbances are there at this point. Maybe in future, when everything comes onto a single blockchain, it becomes very easy. Let's see. Let's hope for a good day. All right. So you can go through the list of applications of blockchain. So where it is used in accounting field, how it is done and all, you can just look at those examples. Okay. I hope that made clear sense of entire topics of F3. That is a full recap of all topics of F3. Chalo. Bye.